Hi, my name is Alana Abramson, and I'm the current chair of the board for the Restorative Justice Association of British Columbia. I was first introduced to restorative justice in a prison setting. I met somebody who had committed acts of violence that were really similar to some of my own lived experience as a survivor of violence. And in these moments of dialogue that I had with him, I saw our shared humanity, and I had an opportunity to have someone empathize with me and see the impact of their actions on other people. And so he learned, I learned how he was being accountable for his actions and doing his best to change his life. And I didn't know it then, but that was my first experience of restorative justice. I wouldn't have been able to have that meaningful dialogue with that person had I not been supported by a loving community. So in those moments of dialogue, I knew I had community members that were supporting me and people I could debrief with after, people who would check in on me. And so I think it's important to recognize that restorative justice is also community justice. And it takes the community to be accountable, to support survivors like myself, but also to support the accountability and rehabilitation of people who cause harm as well. What does restorative justice mean to me? It's such a big question. And over the years, it's changed meaning for me. Quite honestly, when I first got involved in the field, I thought it was something to help perpetrators. Even though I was coming from my own experience as a survivor, it took me some years to realize that the process of restorative justice needs to be victim survivor centered as well as community focused. So in that way, restorative justice is about tapping into the ancient wisdom from all over the world, but also community strengths in order to address justice needs in a meaningful way. Restorative justice is also about attending to relationships. And that's not just the relationships that we have with one another. It's the relationships that we have in our community. And it is also the relationships that we have with structures. So really taking into consideration how systemic injustice impacts harm and what we might do to try to address some of those systemic injustices to make the world a more just place. Restorative justice in British Columbia has evolved significantly over the last few decades, and we're at a place now where there is more awareness than ever before that restorative justice can benefit people who cause harm, people who have been harmed, and the community. And we see restorative justice take place not only in the criminal legal context, but also with businesses and communities and schools and places of higher education. I'm really looking forward to seeing how restorative justice evolves and can better meet the needs of people living in British Columbia.